I mean, I had a very, very long day today. I started work around I don't know how many alarms I actually put on today. I started work around like 9 o'clock, but I woke up around like 6:15, and then I had an alarm for like 6:30, and then I had an alarm for like 6:45, and then I kept on moving the alarms to like 7:15, 7:30, and I finally ended up waking up around like 7:45. Went to the toilet, took shower, and then I went to work around like 9 o'clock. That's when I started work. But yeah, it was a good day, man. It was a long day. I finished work around like 5 o'clock, and then from there headed straight to the academy. I mean, my cardio wasn't too bad, even though I was training for after a long time in the academy. But yeah, it held up. Did MMA wrestling. So there were some nice takedowns going on. I feel like my timing was a little bit off in MMA wrestling, to be honest, because I haven't done striking in a while. I mean, in the gym, I would go with Fike and I would practice a bit of grappling, but yeah, the striking was a bit off. So setting up the takedowns was a little bit different. And then I took the jiu-jitsu class. I felt good in the jiu-jitsu class. Like I felt strong. It was, I think it's the testosterone retention, it's semen retention that I've been falling, to be honest. I think it's kind of helping at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I got to do, man. That's what I got to do. I got to grind. I got to grind every day. That's what I got to do. I got to wake up early in the morning and I got to make a full use of the day. I got to be productive. And that's what we do, man. We go to work, we train, and then we stream at night. And yeah, who was I gonna talk about actually? I don't even. Yeah, I was gonna talk about Arman Tsarukyan. Yeah, guys, after following Arman Tsarukyan for like the last couple of months, you know how many grappling matches this guy had? By the way, I was looking at the grappling record. It's like 7-0 or something like this. So this guy had way too many grappling matches. I mean, just recently, he had two grappling matches. Before that, he had a match with Benson Henderson. Before that, he had a match with somebody else as well that he won. So he's been submitting people left and right. This guy's been winning grappling matches. He also won like a wrestling match. It's also part of grappling. And he beat Lance Palmer, tech fold him 12-0. That was not even close. And Lance Palmer is a guy who's like a four-time NCAA All-American. Uh, he's been a past NCAA finalist. So, I mean, to beat him in that sense, I mean, I completely understand that Lance Palmer is not in the prime of his life. He's like 38, 37, 38 years old. He fights, but he still fights in PFL. It's not like he's completely abandoned the wrestling. You still have to do wrestling in the MMA. And I know the Lance Palmer is like a 145er, so Arman Tsarukyan does have like a weight advantage as well. But I mean, you gotta give it to Arman Tsarukyan, man. The way he dominated the fight, like if it was like a close match, you would have said, okay, Lance Palmer has completely lost his prime. He's not the same guy that he used to be. The last NCAA final that he had was like 2011, 12, whatever that was. So it's been a long, long time. This guy doesn't wrestle freestyle in the wrestling camps. He's only preparing for the MMA wrestling, which is completely different from the freestyle wrestling. And I would have understood that argument, but it's not that case. It was not even close. He made him look amateur. Armin Tsarukyan has the best collar ties. He's got the best headlocks. The way he transforms the position from like the collar ties to the headlocks is one of the best. And I want to give him that, man. Arman Tsarukyan definitely is working towards that. He's a complete fighter, by the way. He's not even just a grappler. Like he's a pretty good striker. If you watch, he's very flexible. He's a great athlete, and he is a very good striker. If you watch his fights, right? Watch his fights. This guy's throwing oblique. He's throwing axe kicks. He's throwing like high head kicks. So I mean, he can do pretty much everything. And watch his fight against Benil Darush when he was able to drop him in one shot. That fight got finished in the first round. And that was not a bad Benil Darush, by the way. That was the Benil Darush that was actually coming off the victories. He didn't have a loss before that. And then Arman destroyed him. And then after that, Charles Oliveira destroyed him because I think Arman destroyed him and Benil Darush was kind of off. But you could see, man, you could see how powerful, how explosive Arman Tsarukyan is. He's actually a really explosive guy with good wrestling, good grappling. I think he's improving it as well because now he's been grappling a lot. So his grappling jiu-jitsu positioning is improving a lot. His top control is unbelievable. I think he used a bit of that in like the freestyle wrestling as well when he was getting the top position. That helped him. I think training with Hamza Shemaev, to be honest, helped him a lot because Hamza Shemaev is bigger than him. Hamza Shemaev's got a very strong grappling, especially the freestyle wrestling background. So if he can stop the takedowns from Hamza Shemaev, there's not going to be many people that are going to be able to take him down. A bigger guy who is a three-time freestyle wrestling champion in Sweden. I think that's means something. And Arman Tsarukyan just on his way, man. UFC got to give him a title shot. The only thing I'm thinking about is like they have given the title shot to Paddy against Gaethje. Now, whoever is the winner, they're going to be facing Ilya, and it doesn't seem like Ilya is free to fight. He's sorting out his court cases, so that might take a bit of a time. And then the winner of that match actually faces Ilya Taporia, and then that delays it to like December or like the next year. And then they might give the fight to Arman Tsarukyan. But what is he going to do in the meantime? I know he's got like the side course. He's going to be grappling throughout the whole time. But he's going to be taking a UFC fight as well. And it is always a risk to take a UFC fight because everybody fighting the UFC is such a high level athlete. So even though Arman Tsarukyan is the best guy, you can always get caught, man. Something, the shit can go down. And if anything happens, he gets injured. Anything happens, the title fight even gets delayed even more. So that would be a problem. So I think, man, Ilya should probably move to 170 because he's a big fan of fighting Makachev anyway. So might as well just take the risk, move to 170, fight Islam Makachev. That would be the greatest fight in the history of UFC. I'll tell you right now, skill wise. Conor versus Khabib was one of the best fight. It was the fight that drew the most amount of money, 2.1 million pay-per-views. We have never seen that before. The storyline was kind of crazy as well. But Ilya and Islam can actually sell the fight just based on the skill. They don't even have to be the best talkers. And I know they can talk. Ilya Taporia likes talking a bit of shit. I know Islam is going to match the energy. They're going to try to sell the fight, but they can just sell the fight based on the skill. These guys are number one pound for pound. Both of them are like number one and number two pound for pound. UFC can just sell the fight based on solely on that. You've never seen the fight where the number one pound for pound fighter is going against a number two pound for pound fighter. And you will be able to see that. I mean, would Ilya Taporia be giving away a lot of size against Islam Makhachev? Honestly, totally, yeah. He's starting from 145, and at 155, he's not the biggest guy. I mean, you saw him against Charles Oliveira. He was looking much smaller than Charles Oliveira. Is he like hunched? Ilya is pretty hunched, but when he's going at 170, he's gonna be even. He's probably gonna be thick and probably a bit fat as well. And I don't think he's gonna be able to match the strength of Islam Makhachev. So at 170, I'll pick Islam Makhachev to win. If the fight is happening at 155, I think it could go Ilya's ways because Islam is going to have a really hard time making the weight now, especially because he has seen 170. He'll be fully drained, and the ability to take a shot might actually go away. But I don't see Islam actually moving to 155. What is the point for Islam to move to 155? 170 is the hardest weight class right now. You got Kamaru Usman at 170. You got Joaquin Buckley, Carlos Protest, uh, Sean Brady, Ian Gary. You got Michael Morales. So there's so many people. Leon Edwards, man, the top 10 guys, everybody is a killer. And Islam Makhachev is going to be defending his title 2 to 3 times. And after that, he's probably just going to retire. So I would say, bro, just make the fight against Ilya Taporia 170. Just make it happen. Ilya has a lot to give away in that fight. But the way things are looking, he's going to have to defend the title against Arman anyway. So might as well go to 170, take the risk. Even if you lose a fight against Islam Makhachev, there's not going to be a lot of people hating Ilya Taporia because you're giving away a lot of size. People would understand that. People would understand. So that's what I want to see. In the meantime, who should Islam Makhachev actually fight? I mean, Kamaru Usman could actually be a very good fight, and I think that would make sense to me because Usman has a lot of legacy behind him. And if UFC wants to make a fight of a wrestler versus a wrestler, I think that's good for the business and setting the fight like number one pound for pound versus former number one pound for pound. It makes sense, but at the same time, I do understand the argument from the other side where people are like, Usman doesn't even deserve the title fight. This guy is on a one fight winning streak. I don't even know if you want to call it a winning streak, but he won his last fight against Joaquin Buckley. What did he do before that? He was on like a 3-fight losing streak. He lost to Leon Edwards twice. He lost to Hamza Shamai, which was like a close fight. It was a 3-round fight. So I wouldn't actually count that. Leon Edwards fight, I actually would. And even the first Leon Edwards fight, man, he was winning the whole fight. It was just like he got caught with one kick. Second fight, I think his confidence was pretty low. He wasn't shooting for the takedowns as much. He wasn't even putting in much effort in the takedowns because he was a little bit scared. So yeah, I mean, from the other side of the people who don't understand this argument, I would say Ian Gary might be a good choice to actually face Islam Makhachev because that is a guy who can actually sell a fight. That is also a guy who's in like a 2-fight winning streak. Plus, Ian Gary can actually fight. This guy is actually really good. Very good striker, good takedown defense, and has been able to take the back with some of the people. Really impressed me with his grappling recently. I don't think he's going to be able to defend the takedowns from Islam Makhachev. I think Islam submits him, but he just has the ability to make people fight his fight. Like he was slow the pace of the fight down. He's pretty fast on his feet. He's pretty evasive. He's got good oblique kicks, but he kind of like the fight that he's involved in mostly. It turns out to be not very entertaining and not very like productive in terms of like throwing the strikes. But it's like because he feints a lot, so it puts a lot of fear in his opponents, and they throw less as well. So whenever Ian Gary's involved in a fight, it's like he makes his opponent throw less too. So if he can make Islam Makhachev fight his fight, that would be good for him. But I don't think it's going to work against Islam because it mostly works against strikers. And Islam is a guy who likes shooting the double legs. And he's pretty fast shooting the double legs. I know Bilal couldn't do that against Ian Gary. Ian Gary was able to keep the distance because Bilal was a little bit slower. I think Islam is faster. I don't know who's going to have the speed advantage, but I'm guessing Islam might be faster in this fight. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think Ian Gary is a guy. Carlos Provis would be a dangerous fight for anyone, but he hasn't shown any sort of takedown defense. The guy got out wrestled by Ian Gary, so I don't think he's deserved the spot for the title against Islam Makhachev, especially when you know stylistically that's going to be the best. That's not going to be the best fight for him. Michael Morales, you could have a strong argument because the guy has actually got judo background. His parents actually did judo, and he did judo when he was quite young. But I don't know how much he's been active at judo. We haven't seen him getting taken down so far, but also because he hasn't met a grappler who's really shot a takedown against him. We saw him in the last fight against Brady. Brady just didn't go for it. He didn't press the button. He was kind of on the back foot. He was really kind of confused between striking and grappling, which is not the best spot to be at, especially when you're fighting a guy like Michael Morales. So I want to see Michael Morales against Islam Makhachev, but I don't know if he's the best guy right now. He might. UFC should probably book a fight of him versus somebody else who's got some sort of grappling. I would say give Michael Morales Bilal and see what. But Michael Morales is probably not going to take the fight because Bilal is on a losing streak. He lost to JDM and then he lost to Ian Gary. But like if he could fight like a tune-up fight against one of the grapplers from UFC, I think that could indicate how the fight with Islam Makhachev could go. And in the meantime, you could have Islam fighting Ian Gary because Ian Gary has actually proved against some of the grapplers that he could do that. He fought Bilal. He was able to defend all of the takedowns against Bilal. Didn't get taken down a single time. He fought Shafkat. He was able to get taken down like twice, but he was also able to take the back of Shafkat Rakhmonov at one point and made Shafkat look very average of a wrestler. So I think that could be a good fight. Or if Shafkat is actually fit to fight, that would be one of the best. I would say Shafkat should be the one actually fighting Islam Makhachev because he's got everything. He's like a complete fighter. His striking is amazing. He's very tough. He's got very strong chin. He doesn't quit easy. He's a finisher. He's actually, when he smells blood, he actually goes for the finish. And he does have very strong submissions. His wrestling is probably not as good as Islam Makhachev, but his submission threats is actually very real. When he actually gets the grip on, I think his squeeze is pretty good. Like he gets the submission very quick. So that would be a good fight. Uh, but yeah, man, Arman Tsarukyan, I think he deserves a title shot. What should UFC actually do with that? Like if I'm Dana White right now, I've already made the fight of Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje. I cannot change the fight now. It's too late. So have Paddy fight Justin Gaethje 24th of January. You have the winner coming out. Let's say Paddy actually wins the fight. And I know what you want to do. You want to make a fight of Paddy Pimblett versus Elite Porty because that's the fight you've been waiting for. You want to sell that fight like Spanish versus British crowd. Depends on when Ilya is available. If Ilya's availability is really quick, then you can actually make that fight in like July or August, and then have Arman fight in December, and then actually declare Arman's the number one contender. Like make a statement saying that Arman's going to be the one fighting for the title without having Arman facing somebody else. And I know Arman's the kind of guy who would actually take any fight. So I would not be mad if they put him against like the winner Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway. Like that could be one of the cases. You know, it could be on the same card as like Ilya Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett, and then you have Arman Tsarukyan fighting the winner of the BMF. Because I know Charles is fighting Max for the BMF. So the winner actually fights Arman on the same card as Ilya is fighting Paddy. Then you can have that fight as well. And then if Arman beats one of those guys, or the winner of those guys, whoever's the winner, like if Max wins against Charles and then he beats Arman, then Max gets the title shot against Ilya Topuria. So make that happen. And then hopefully, man, Arman gets the title. This guy deserves it. I'm telling you, this guy's so good. He's getting to a level where you could say like he's one of the perfect fighters. And in the last fight, he's actually making very good decisions. Like the difference between Islam Makhachev and some of the other fighters is that Islam knows when to shoot. Islam knows how to play his game. His IQ level is very high. Like there are fighters who are very good at like multiple skills. They're fighters who are very good strikers. They're very good wrestlers. But it's like they don't know how to use their skills. They don't have the high IQ level, or maybe not the experience, because that's where you get the IQ level from. They don't know when to shoot. They don't know when to strike. And Islam knows it. You saw that in the fight against JDM. He was shooting at a perfect time. His timing was perfect as well for the shots. He was waiting for JDM to throw, and as soon as the JDM would throw, Islam would actually shoot for the takedown. So the setups were really nice, beautiful. And I think Arman, after watching his last fight, I can see that he's getting to a point where he's actually playing very smart. Like against Dan Hooker, you could see he was playing very smart. He was outside. He knows he's faster than Dan Hooker. Then he would come inside. He would land a couple of combinations because he knows he's got a hand speed advantage on Dan Hooker. He would even kick from a distance sometimes. But then when he gets close and he feels like Hooker is about to throw a strike, and he knows he's got a lot of speed advantage on Hooker, he would shoot a takedown, take Hooker down, and that's when he does his damage. And he's one of the most entertaining grapplers of all time because he's the guy who actually does a lot of damage from the top. So I mean, with the Arman Tsarukyan, I'm pretty confident like this guy can actually make it. He can go to the top. He's also expressed his willingness to fight Islam Makhachev, but he does understand that he has to defend the title a few times. So I can totally see him defending the title a few times, winning the title, defending the title against a few times against the top contenders, and then moving to welterweight. And Islam would probably be retired by that time, or it might be Islam's last fight. It could face Arman Tsarukyan. And then Islam retires, and Arman can move to 170 and can face whoever is the champion. He's gonna have a lot of reach disadvantage because unlike Islam, Arman is not a tall guy. Arman is only like 5'7". Islam was like 5'10", 5'11". So Islam had a lot of reach advantage, which would help against the strikers at the welterweight, right? Because they're pretty tall. I mean, most of the guys are like extremely tall. They're like 6'1", 6'2". We even have guys like 6'3". Gary 6'3". So Islam has a lot of reach disadvantage as well, and that's why he needs to have the wrestling skill. He's required to shoot the takedowns because Islam is more like an evasive striker. He's not a striker who actually goes inside and like trades the punches to the pocket. He does that sometimes. He did that against Dustin Poirier, but that's not where he does his best work. His best work is he's an evasive boxer. He'll throw like a few strikes, then he will move back. He will evade the punches, and then there will be a point when he will actually shoot the takedowns. When he will close the distance pretty fast, shoot the takedowns. That's where he does his work, and yeah, man, that's what it is. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna get off the stream. I will stream later on. I'm gonna do like a Twitch stream as well. When I'm gonna discuss political stuff, I want to be careful with the YouTube. I've been discussing a lot of political stuff on YouTube, but I want to be careful about it because it just feels like the political stuff can get you banned from YouTube. It's just kind of like it's one of those things where you're taking the risk. It's like you don't want to go too political. You don't want to be taking any sides. So I'll probably do the political streaming on Twitch and like in a bit. But yeah, bye for now. I might do a streaming. I will do like a fighting stream as well, but I will do it a bit later. Have a good one.